All right, guys, let's do a vanilla city start. How to start your city. I might make this 3 or 4 episodes long, uh, but I wanted to do just a vanilla start with all the milestones, and I wanted to use just one of the classic old maps from the base game. So I'm going to just go with Black Woods. It's my favorite classic map. And so what I want to go over with this is planning out from the beginning. So showing you how to save money, but also showing you how to plan out ahead of time what you're going to need in the future. So the first thing I want to do when I look at a map is look at the future. Try to look at the future. Um, the main things you want to keep in mind, especially for traffic management in the future, because when it comes down to it, this game turns into a traffic simulator once you get your city to be bigger. So you want to always have multiple points of access for your heavy traffic zones, which are your downtown and your industrial. But you're always going to start in one little square here, and I always started off as the old town. So maybe have a couple of main artery roads going through it, but you also want to think about where your downtown will be in the future. So just taking a look at this, can I make this brighter? Oop, guess not. I was trying to change time of day, sorry. So just taking a look at this, the first things we want to look at are where the highways are, over here, okay? Where our outside connections are, which is on this map is the rail, coming along here and here. And then we want to look at where our resources are. So right now, the only resources we can really see are this fertile land, the yellow, and there's a lot of trees. A lot of trees over here. So because of the rail access and the highway access, I'm thinking this would be a great spot for some forestry, maybe a little bit of farming. Same over here, the train comes over here, farming land up here, more forestry. Uh, this color right here I think is oil, um, or maybe stone. We can't see our resources right now, but I think, and just from seeing this map before with all the mods unlocked, I think there's oil over here as well. Um, it's kind of that brown color land. Yeah, see how this land is like brownish instead of greenish? This is just from my experience playing the game that I know that, but so this will be a good industrial alley over here. This has to be our old town because of the first starting square. So then that makes this a great area for our downtown in the future. So looking at our highway access, you can have a nice circular access to downtown is over here. So looking at that, saying this is going to be our downtown, let's plan out our first square. If we're looking out on the downtown over here, maybe we want to have a nice waterfront commercial area over here. And then of course the first thing we're going to need is residential. So we'll come in right here and do residential. And then maybe we want some like fancier residential. Water always makes your property values pretty high. So we'll do plan for fancier residential, maybe a little bit of a upscale commercial pocket right here. And then along the freeway, we'll do our industrial stuff because it's hard to start without doing some pollutive industry right off the bat. So that'll be our plan. And one of the other main things I like to do is just ignore this intersection. I mean, with our industry, we're going to want a four-way intersection at one point, but with how I'm planning to do the commercial over here, I think maybe we want a main arterial road coming through right here. So that makes our highway intersection possibly over here. So we're just going to ignore this. We're just going to use it as if it's a normal street. It's not a highway intersection. And let's get our roads out. So when you're starting base vanilla, you just have one little road to start with. So we're going to connect this together, and that opens up the 2-lane one-way roads. And I believe, yes, it also opens up your 4-lane and 6-lane roads. We're going to start with 4-lane because they're cheaper to do upkeep. See, the upkeep cost of 80 cents a week per cell, per one little of these squares, 80 cents a week, which is a lot of money. And then the larger roads, they're the same. So see how this road here is wider than this road that I just put in? The 6-lane and the 4-lane roads are the same width, which is important when you're building buildings. So these are 96 cents a week upkeep, and these are 80 cents a week. So we're going to go with those, and we're just going to come over here and kind of look at where we want our split to be. And I'm thinking right along this tree line is kind of a good spot. So let's do that. And we'll just put in, I like to go kind of in fives. We'll put in 50, so that's, yeah, 50 units. That every 10, see the lines there in the blue are every 10 units. So we'll do 50 units of our main road. Okay? And then for our highway access, again, we're just going to ignore this. We're going to go with a 2-lane road, and we're just going to come out at a 90-degree angle from the road we just drew in, because that's going to be the main artery that we're building off of. Our whole little town here. We're going to build our grid off of that. So we're going to bring this up straight right here. Whoops, sorry, I messed that up. We're going to bring this up straight to the end of this road. See, this blue guideline comes out. We're just going to go straight to the end of that road. I'm going to delete this little piece I put in here before. And we're going to go to our 2-lane one-way roads and just connect from here to here and from here, well, from here to here. Now notice this arrow is facing left and this arrow is facing right. To fix that, we go to our upgrade tool and right click, and it'll turn it around so that it faces. So if you ever have this little, this means this road isn't connecting, it's not a valid connection, turn it around. Okay? So now we're going to continue our main arterial road down to here. Might eventually want to take it across on a bridge over to here. Maybe we'll make this a nice, I don't know, park area or just more fancy housing. Who knows? We're not there yet. Right now we're just planning out commercial, residential, and industry. Those are our 3 things. So right now we've got a big demand for residential, which is this green right here. Now our little roads cost 32 cents a week to upkeep per cell. And a big thing looking ahead, you always want to go back to your straight road tool here. You got straight, you got curved, and you have freeform curves, which I'll explain that later. But with your straight roads, building your first gridded city area. And you never want too many connections on your main arterial roads. So since this is going to be a big main road, I'm going to go every 3rd blue dot here, every 3rd main node. I'm going to just do 1 connection for our residential people. And see, these guidelines are going to pop out and show you where to connect if you want to connect evenly up to these other ones. However, I'm going to ignore them just to keep my roads even, the spacing, and I'm just going to go to these blue line markers. So I'm going to go out 50 here and just go and connect up over here maybe. Let me just delete this connection real quick and it'll let me do it. Because I'm keeping my grid off of, or my square, keeping 90-degree square off of this road, not off of these highway roads. So then let me just get back my 2-lane, and I will just connect it like that. It's fine. Everyone that's getting on will be coming from this direction, so it's fine. It's not a tight turn for them. So now, to build out our residential area, to get the most zoning, sorry, my dog is whining, to get the most zoning out of this, we're going to have our commercial zone over here. Commercial is quite loud, and you don't want your residents being bothered by the loudness of it. So we're just going to come out from every blue dot here and make a road all the way up to match up our zoning squares over here. So just come out every 10 segments. Little roads like this are 2 segments wide, and then larger roads like this are 4 segments wide. So then you have 8 segments in between, which is important because the largest house that will build is 4 by 4. Let's just show it on this side. 4 by 4 like that. 4 by 4 like this. That's the largest house that will build in. Now they'll come in all sorts of shapes and sizes if you just mass zone like this. Which at this point I don't really care. I'm just trying to pack as many people in here as possible. So I'm going to stick with that. So we're zoning in residential right now. Green is residential, low density. Blue is commercial, and yellow is industrial. And then you can unzone with this, or you can just right click with any of the other ones highlighted and you'll dezone. So we're going to go with that. But first, before we hit play, we're going to need a few utilities, power and water. These are the only things open at the beginning of the game. You can come over here and look at your budget for said utilities, but right now we're not spending anything on them because we don't have anything. So first things residents will need is water. So let's go ahead. I'm going to kind of follow the main road, but not just to make it a nice even grid. Now see this blue bubble? That is the water coverage you'll have. You don't need to put your pipes going under every single road, though it can be nice looking and more realistic once you get to that. But the blue bubble is all you need for water coverage, so you can just overlap your blue bubbles there. Follow your guidelines to see these green guidelines popping up to make it even, and then connect them together. You don't need to connect them together all the way around everywhere. You can leave empty spots like that. It'll go just fine. But just make sure your blue bubble's overlapping and draw it in. If you want to know how far apart that is, it is exactly 440 construction dollars. So you can also come out this way, get to 440, click and drag. Now, my neighborhood doesn't come over that far yet, so I'm not going to. For ease of use, I'm going to put in my water intake somewhere over here. But the most important thing you want to look at when looking at water intake is the arrows in the water. Now with the vanilla base game, you have to suck water out over here, and you have to dump your sewage into the water. Super realistic, right? If you have some DLC packs, the Green Cities DLC gives you these inland water treatment plants. They do pollute. See that purple circle is pollution. So don't put that near where your residents are. They do pollute, or you can just choose to pollute your water. You have your standard water drain pipe. I'm going to go ahead and use our eco water drain pipe. It doesn't pollute quite as much. And then you just have your standard water pumping station for everything. You can also use water towers if you don't have a lot of fresh water coming in somewhere. They're probably more realistic because where in the world have you seen this? What small town have you seen just pumping water out of the river? But we'll go with it. So keep your water pumping station upstream from your sewage. If you put your sewage up here, you're going to suck in clean or dirty water and be very soon killing all of your residents. So we need to connect these up. This means connect your pipe. So connect your pipe, connect your pipe. And to work, these guys will need power. So we've got our pipes all connected. All your buildings and your residential buildings will need power. So, to start, we've got a coal power plant, which is pretty pollutive, noisy and pollutive. Or we just have wind. Now this overlay that just came up shows us how strong the wind is. We actually have very good wind strength along the coast here. You also have good wind strength on the tops of hills. This isn't a very big hill, but it is a hill. See, this is darker over here. That's a bigger hill. But you do have good wind strength around your hills. Now, these cost 6,000 each. This costs 19,000. We'll get to the coal power plant, but for right now, I can get 3 of these for 18,000, and that one is 19,000. So we'll save a little bit of money, and these are less to upkeep, and it'll just get us started until we have some residents and some tax dollars coming in. So the main thing with power you need to know is that these little blue bubbles are your power bubbles. When you put down a power station, it has an even bigger power bubble around it. Now to connect to this power bubble, you can put in power lines like this, but I'm just going to go ahead and put in 2 more because I know we're going to need the power. So now all of this is connected. We don't need a power line between them. However, we will need a power line over to our residence. So I'm just going to go ahead and come right next to this road, go 4 squares back because our houses can grow into be 4 squares big, remember? And we're going to put in our power line right here and just drag it straight over to our turbines. Anywhere in the blue bubble would do. So now we've got power, we've got water, and we can hit play. So I've zoned in this green area here, and we should start to see our houses coming in. So we can watch them grow here. Watch these guys grow in. And the main thing we're looking for with our residents is tax dollars, because our tax dollars are what pay our bills. So let's take a look at our finance tab for a moment. Let's also take a look at our electricity availability is through the roof. Our water availability, also through the roof. So we can take to save a little bit of money, we can take our electricity availability and our water availability and put it way down. This 50% is as low as it'll go. So let's look at what it is now. Still through the roof for electricity, still through the roof for water. Uh-oh. Alright, let's pause for a moment. This is a sewage icon, meaning I didn't wait long enough to see what our water availability was like, or something. We should have power to both of these. So what's going on here? It's on, it's operating. Let's see. Oh, it's okay. It was just momentarily didn't have power for some reason. But it fixed itself, so continuing on. Now let's do some more residential in here, because we've still got the demand for it, but we've also got demand creeping up now for our commercial and our industrial. So our commercial area is going to be off this road over here. I'm going to continue our smaller road. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to take our bigger road and come out this way. And I'm going to come up. Do I want to do 2 squares? Yeah, we'll come up 20 squares. And then we'll come over by the same 50 and we'll connect. Now, an important thing I'm doing here is keeping T intersections, just 3-way intersections. Why are there cars flying across my screen? Okay. Anyway, T intersections, because that's just how traffic likes to behave in this game. It works better if you do T intersections. If you have four-way intersections, you run into more traffic problems. So T intersections there, and then I'm going to put one connection going through up this way. I am trying to keep as few connections as possible on this main road. So let's get some commercial in here. I'm going to pause the game because we're losing money and I'm talking. If I were just zooming right along, we probably wouldn't need to pause it all. And I'm just going to fill in this whole thing with commercial so that we get lots of places for our cute little residents to shop at. And I think what we're going for here is 400 residents. Let me check our, is this milestones? Yes. 320 will be Little Hamlet, and then we'll unlock some things like tax control, loans, garbage, healthcare, education. But for right now, we're just trying to grow our residents. And what our residents are wanting right now is places to shop, and then industrial, they want places to work. So we're also going to come off of our main road here. Let's just bring it up a little bit by 10 squares and get a small road. And we're also going to do industrial. Now, like I said, we're kind of ignoring that this is a highway right now. We're just treating it like a normal road, even though it's a highway. But we don't have highway road controls right now until we reach our milestone goals. So we're just going to bring this road over for our industrial zoning, and we're just going to connect it right to the highway because we don't care. When you have a higher population, you want smooth flowing highways and intersections, but that's not until you get to about 5,000 people, and really anything like this will work. You don't need to waste your money in the beginning doing big highway builds, highway intersection builds. You just need to get your people in to start so you can have tax dollars so that you can have money to build big highway intersections. So we'll put in a big bank of industrial here. This is going to pollute. You want to keep a buffer between your pollutive and your residential. You could put it up right next to your, what is this, commercial as well. But just as long as it's not next to your residence. You also want to keep your commercial a little bit separated from your residential because it is noisy as heck. Now look at all our new residents coming in. Here they come. They're coming to live here. Thank you. Thank you, tax-paying citizens. We are building you places to shop and work as we speak. All right. So hopefully we can fill up the industrial demand enough that we don't need to bring the pollutive stuff down into town anymore. I might expand it over onto this side because this demand bar isn't going down super quickly. And let's just check that our power is getting through. It is. So you can always check that your blue bubbles are connecting. If your buildings are too far apart, they won't connect. How this is not connected right here, and then you need a power line. But we're all fairly close to each other, and we have blue bubblage. Blue bubblage. So it's going down a bit. I might need to expand it onto the other side. What I'm trying not to do is pollute all of this because we're going to want to put residents here fairly quickly, and I still have flying cars. That is just too hilarious. I don't know why it's glitching so badly. Probably because I turned off all my mods. Anyway. So now it's just a waiting game. We're just trying to get more residents, more industry. We need more water to feed our poor industrial buildings. You don't have to worry about them polluting your water lines. Your water lines are underground. You would have to worry if you put above ground pollutive stuff right next to your actual water that you're sucking in, but your water lines are fine. All your buildings need water, so. Now we're just going to try to wait until we reach our next milestone of Little Hamlet, which is at 320 residents. And we're going to add in some more industrial because we need it, apparently. Maybe I'll just go out over on this side to continue that, because I really don't want it over on this side. But our water is going to need to connect that away. See, I just brought it to where the blue bubble just covers because I'm trying not to spend money. I'm trying real hard. I could fill in this other side with just the 2 squares right up against the boundary, but I think once we hit our milestone, we'll unlock... No, we won't unlock another square. I guess that's not till 650 people. We'll get another area, and then we'll be able to spread our industrial out along here. And we can think about an intersection there. But I'm going to speed it up. Get our houses to grow in. Get our industrial to grow in. Okay, here we go. Here's something to look at. Our power is failing because we've turned our budget way down. So we have low electricity availability. Let's just check our water. Water is fine. But power we need some more of. So we will, I always just do like 50% and then I jump up to 75% and then I jump up to 100%. But let's watch these bubbles disappear. Okay, let's just check that. Good electricity availability. Cars flying through the air. It's all good. All good in our little town of Lake Valley. What a horrible name. These aren't lakes. This is a river. Let's do... Oh! Just like that. Little Hamlet. Alright, so we're going to pause here. Worry about renaming our city in a second. We've unlocked tax controls. Very important. Loans. Semi-important. Garbage, healthcare, and education. Anytime a new service unlocks, people want it immediately. I believe they gave us a little influx of cash here, a little cash prize for getting this far. So we have a little bit more money. So let's take a look at our taxes. Let's make sure, stay paused. And let's take a look at our taxes. The very first thing we want to do with our taxes is turn it up to 12%. 12 is the magic number that people will not complain, which is kind of true. Where I live, it's about 12%. In the city, outside of the city, it's about half that, but in the city, 12%. If you go up to 13, you'll start causing people to complain about tax revenue. And then we have healthcare, garbage, and education. So the first thing all these little residents are going to want is to be educated. So we have an elementary school. It's $10,000. An elementary school will cover a neighborhood. So we're going to fill in the rest of this just because our residential demand is creeping up here. We're going to fill in the rest of this neighborhood. And then let's just imagine it's about double the size over here. That is about the size that an elementary school will serve. It's like 300 people? Let's see. Capacity of 300. High schools have a higher capacity of 1,000. So that is 2.5 times the amount, roughly. So I always just go with a rule of thumb. Elementary schools serve a neighborhood, and a high school can serve 2.5. I usually just go with 3 neighborhoods, because not everybody goes to high school, unfortunately, in this game. So let's go ahead and get our services in. We have a little bit of money to do so. We have a medical clinic, 10,000. And we have a school, which is 10,000, and then I believe, I hope, a garbage landfill is only 4,000 and a recycling center is 16. So we'll go with landfills just because that's what comes in vanilla's. Recycling comes with the other one, green cities, and it's more expensive and it doesn't hold as much trash. So let's get our medical in here. Let's talk about where we want this. Service buildings can go in residential neighborhoods. They're not noisy and people love them. But I do like to put them kind of in our commercial zones, and I always like to put them on a side street so that when they come out to a main road, they can turn left or right. If you put them out here, they can only turn right. So I'm going to put my medical clinic, I'm actually going to save that spot for fire. I'm going to put my medical clinic over here. See, it makes everybody happy. They can get out onto the main road and quickly come over here. We'll make another residential connection over here as well so that they can quickly get it over to our sick residents. Our garbage, ooh, garbage. Landfills create a big bit of pollution. So we are just going to stick this over here for now because this is going to be fancy housing territory and we're not going to get to that this episode. We will eventually move our pollutive stuff away. So I'm going to put my garbage way down here at the end of this road for now. We'll keep our housing well over here so that our residents won't get sick from pollution. And then as far as education goes, I'm going to put an elementary school in the middle here. So let me go ahead and draw out some neighborhoods because this is going to fill up fairly soon. And let's continue our main road out here. So that's 2 nodes from the beginning and, oops, whoa. Bulldoze that. If you bulldoze things right away, you get your money back. But if you wait a while, you don't. So let's draw our neighborhood out here and just continue these roads along. And I'm gonna make our schools connect through a little bit better. So I'm going to have a road that cuts through. These flying cars are cracking me up. It's just a glitch in the game. A road that connects through, but is not connecting to this arterial road. We don't want this to be a 4-way intersection, but we will be able to put pathways in connecting that eventually. So this is about the size that an elementary school will serve. So I'm going to go ahead and put in an elementary school if I had the money. We are making money now, so that's a good thing. We have enough residents and businesses paying taxes that we're making some money. So if we just speed this up a little, we can get to 10,000 for our elementary school. We can also come in here and take a loan. So we've got all our taxes up. We can take a $20,000 loan to start. So let's just go ahead and do that because it's going to cost us $400 a week, but we are making $2,000 a week. So we can take this loan. And we can get a school going right away. It'll make our residents happier. It'll make when you make your residents happier, more of them come. It makes your city more desirable. And they're happier. They upgrade. Your houses go through levels of upgrading. They're only at level 1 right now. They can go to level 5. The more they upgrade, the more people can live there, the more tax revenue you can get. So look at how quickly these squares are filling in now because we have crazy residential demand because I have just put in that school. And they are loving it. Look at them go, and we'll probably need, oh, I've got water coverage, all right. What did I just see? My sewage treatment is going down the tank, and whew, we are just hitting all sorts of milestones. So we've got our next area. We can now do districts and policies. We'll get to that a little ways down the road. We don't need it quite yet. We can get another loan if we need it. The biggest thing to look at is emergency services, police department, and unique buildings have arrived. Do we have parks yet? No. Okay. So we're going to need to put in these services kind of right away because people will start complaining, and fire coverage is very important. Fire stations. We also need to upgrade our sewage, or not upgrade, but just add more sewage capacity. So let's pause it real quick and look at our sewage eco water outlet is what I'm using. We'll just go right over here next to this guy and put in another one. Boom. And if we unpause, you'll see this jump up. Speed it up a little bit. There we go. There we go. All right. So let's pause it again while we talk about our fire coverage. Healthcare, we have fire. All our little buildings are red. Oh gosh, these guys don't have power over here because, yep, we need more power. Okay, let's keep talking about fire and we'll get to power. The most important things to not burn down are your power plants, which windmills don't burn down, so we're okay there. But because our power is going down, we will eventually want to build a coal power plant over in our industrial zone. So our fire, we want to be able, this green bubble is where they can easily reach. They will go beyond the green bubble. But our fire, we want to be kind of mid-range, just on the edge of our commercial and residential with good access to our industrial. So we're going to put our fire station right over here. Makes everyone happy. These guys don't have great coverage, but they're just temporary, so that's okay. Now, what else do we have? Police. Police, kind of similar to schools. You do need it to keep your crime level down overall, but it's not the most important thing. But it does help your businesses, your industrial, and your residential upgrade. So it's very good to have, again, kind of same as fire, close to everyone so that they all have good access, so that they will all upgrade and pay more money to our coffers. Still don't have high school. Okay, and so the next thing we need is probably just to turn up our budget. Are we at 100% yet with our power? No, we're not. So we're just going to turn this up to 100%. And we'll talk about the coal power plant probably in the next episode. We'll buy a new square. Let's make sure all these little electricity bubbles go away. Yep, okay, we have enough power now. And our info panel is filling in over here. So this is really good. I'm going to talk about this and then we're going to call it. And we'll come back in the next episode for this. But one of our main things that I always look at is noise pollution. Industrial is very loud. Commercial is pretty loud. Your power plants and stuff are always going to be loud. They're kind of industrial. When you get bigger, your high density commercial is very loud. But you want to keep your residents away from it because they will get sick. They will become ill from too much noise pollution. So see how there's kind of some overlap here? The very lightest pink is okay. We can also, once we are able to put in trees, make a bit of a buffer here. We'll make a bit of a nice green walkway, like with a pathway and trees and stuff, and it'll buffer from this. Same kind of over here, pathway, trees will buffer from this noise over here. You can always look at your fire coverage. Your traffic is a good one to look at. Like I said, until you hit about 5,000 people, you won't be having too many traffic problems unless you've just laid out your roads horrendously and only have one way to get in and out. But we've got 1, 2, 3 ways for our people to get in and out of here, so they're fine. Traffic, we won't worry about for a long time. Education, good capacity. We only have 150 people. Like I said, we've only got about half of this neighborhood filled in. Once it's all filled in, this school will pretty much be at capacity. Garbage, good. Garbage processing status looks really low for some reason, but it's okay. We're starting to have power problems just because we're reaching the capacity of all three of these wind turbines here. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. In the next episode, we'll open up our next square, get better garbage and power processing, and grow our city a little more. Until next time.